Hello everybody and welcome back to 100 Days of Code with your host Lily Code. Now I'm a host. So today we are on day 74 of 100 Days of Code and we're continuing with Sean Wassells' shorter 4.5 hour React tutorial, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So let's keep going. What we're doing now is we're setting up routing in our project. So here we are. We've just literally set this up since yesterday. So check out that video if you want to know how we got to where we are now. And let's continue. So with our home path, when we are routing to the home path, we need to pass in the keyword exact as well, because otherwise it will match any routes that match this path to the path. So if we just have a / without the word exact, any path that has / will also be matched. So we need to say exactly just a / bring us home. Perfecto selecto. So that should be all the setup we need, he said. I seem to have some errors, so let's figure these out. So if I reload my page here, attempted import error. Greeting does not contain an export imported as greeting. Okay, so on our homepage.js, let's have a look here. We have, of course, this is what I was talking about yesterday and the day before and ever since we started Sean Wassells' course. So ever since we started Sean Wassells' course, he is using named exports. So here we can see we have export const greeting all on the same line as we are declaring that function. So this is a named export. We've given it a name. It's called greeting. So when we're doing the import into other files, it must be wrapped in a curly bracket, and then this error will go away. So that's the error we get. Great. Excusez-moi. Okay, so that's good to know how that error actually shows in our code. And now we seem to have more errors, which is fine. We can fix them. So now we have an error in app. Nothing was returned from the render. This means a return statement is missing, or to render nothing, return null. So let's go and have a look at our app.js. Oh, this should all be in a return statement, of course. So we need to say return and open up our parentheses and move all this stuff inside. This is what we're returning from this component. It can't just be floating around like that. So now if we save, that error should go away. So if we reload, we have another error, so that's okay. A root is only ever to be used as the child of roots, never rendered directly. Please wrap your root in a roots. We have wrapped our root in a router. So we've imported router and root. So please wrap your route or route in a routes. So let's just try and wrap these route in routes and see if that fixes it, because Sean hasn't done this. So this seems to be either a mistake on our part, which is very, very, very possible, or we've since changed, or the approach has since changed. So let's just copy this, move this around our routes, all of our route definitions here. We don't have routes. Like, what is routes? You know, we could not find name routes exactly. So let's just see if we can also import this by another name, routes, and see if this fixes the issue. Like, I'm just taking an absolute wild guess here, but dependent on how we set up the other stuff, it seems logical. Homepage is not a route component. All component children of routes must be a route or a React fragment. So let's go and have a look at our home page. Let's here just say fragment instead of not using the word fragment. So now we've imported fragment from React in our home component. I'm not sure if that's going to make any difference. Maybe I'm going on a wild goose chase here. Okay, so error homepage. So in our React router index. Okay, so in our React router index, in our index file. So homepage from homepage. Let's just go and check out our homepage. Export const homepage. Okay. Let's split this beside our counter button page just to check is there any glaring differences here. So we're just exporting const, then the name of our file. Do you know, just for pig irons, I will use, the way I would standardly do this is like actually put it in a function, which the other way is still a function. It just means it's returning a single thing, but I'm just more used to using the curly brackets. So just for my own brain, to take out any variables that I'm not too sure about. Okay. Line 19 of our index.tsx packages React router index. So what do our errors say? Homepage is not a route component. All component children of routes must be a route or react.fragment. So rather than just using fragment in homepage, because we know homepage is doing something here, you know, it's definitely, so homepage is definitely doing something. So we will say react.fragment instead, just because it's giving us some sort of indication that all component children of routes must be a route or react.fragment. So okay, great. And look, now we're getting closer. So now it's saying homepage.js React is not defined. So now we just need to import React as well from React, comma, save. Now we're back to where we started. Okay. Fragment is defined but never used. Yes, that's true. Because we're just doing it a slightly different way now. We're saying react.fragment. So Sean's is working. And we didn't do anything spectacular, you know, so let me just make sure that this file is exactly as he has it, because I am new to this. We haven't done this yet in Max's one, so this is actually my first introduction, so I very well could be doing something wrong, of course. But then also a few bits have been since updated, so I don't know whether that's coming into it. So we best get to the bottom. So in our app.js, he has router. So our div has the class name of app. Let's just do that too. Equals app. This is just a class name. Like, this should only be worried about styles. But nonetheless, so we have router. Slash people lister. Oh, well, look, so one thing we haven't done correctly is it's not called counter button. We're looking for our counter button page down here. So we are using the wrong thing. We want to go to our counter button page. So okay, that's one thing that was definitely wrong. And then I just added in this route. So let's take that out because I thought that might fix it. It said we needed to wrap it in routes, but I just sort of made that up. So let's go back again. But then again, he just seemed to import, you know, router and route both from React Router DOM. So it made sense, like, oh, do we just need to wrap this in routes now or something? So that did seem to fix that. Okay, I'm going to just Google this. So search. And let's see what comes up. So solved, cool. And Stack Overflow. React.js. Trying to use routing for the first time and follow the exact instructions from Udemy. Same here, man. So yes, this is what we have. Very similar. Index. Okay, slightly different, but he actually called it browser router, so that's okay. And I get the following error. Where have I gone wrong? Yes. There we go. In React Router DOM version 6 is a bit different. So this section is not relevant anymore. Well, it is. Of course it's relevant, but, you know, this would be confusing for somebody who doesn't quite understand this yet, you know, as a brand newbie. So that's important, guys. Chapter 3 is a little bit outdated. So I need to take note of that. I'm just going to pause the video for un momento. Okay, great. So I just took note of that and now we can actually see what this difference is. So let's see. So first of all, you just install it. Yeah. Then let's just read the Stack Overflow for a moment. So we need browser route, routes, and route. Let's see. So we have router, route, and routes. Okay, let's just call it browser router for pig iron rather than router. So browser router, route, and routes. Okay. Yes. And we just want to import these things from React. Let's not say browser router as, because these could be 3 different things. That's, I thought, why are we just importing one thing and renaming it, you know, unless it's like the larger object and it has all these things within it. So then we need to render browser router, routes, and then we have our different routes in there. And it looks like we don't put the leading slash anymore as well. Now it needs to be rendered with routes, which is an upgrade from the switch. So yes, routes, route, route. Okay, so let's try this. So our top level wrapper is going to be browser router. Then we have a second wrapper, which is routes. Like so. Then we have our individual routes. And we also link to the elements differently. They don't take children, they render as a JSX on the new element prop. So, cool, that's our problem, I think. So if instead we paste this in here. So this is going to be home. So route path is just going to be a / and then the element is the home page. Perfect. And now, and this just needs to be a closing tag. Cool. So then for counter, this all goes within here. So now we want to close this off, add element, and counter button page. Yeah, like so. And close this off like you would a normal tag. And then we have our people list. So the element for this one is our people list component. So people list page, sorry, and close it off. And let's see how we're doing now. So if I get rid of these two unused, unnecessary tags, this needs to be closed off. And just like that, and save. Does this approach work now? A route is only ever to be used as the child of routes, never rendered directly. Please wrap your route in a route. Okay, so actually that has gone away now. So home page, nothing was returned from render. So let's go and have a look at our home page. Do I need to say exact? Doesn't say exact in the example given, and that's a home. No, they've no home route. Okay. Well, here they've a home route and they're not using the keyword exact. So we'll just hang on for a moment and go and have a look at our home component, our home page. So home page. Yes, so we are not returning anything. You are correct. So we will return yes, because I changed the brackets, of course, and we'll open this and we'll move this stuff up in here. Before it was automatically returning because we can leave out the keyword return and just return what we want to return directly, but I changed it into a function, so we do need to add back in that return word. Oh, whoa, whoa, oh, 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 whoa. So what's the story now with the rest of this? You know, it hasn't started off on the best foot, chapter 3. So I don't really want to continue chapter 3. I think we will skip chapter 3 altogether because changes have since happened to the React Router DOM, and this is a chapter about React Router DOM. So I think this is going to have to be skipped, just so we're not getting into like, although, let's just continue and see how we get along, you know? Maybe we can, I quite liked knowing, okay, this was an old thing and now we're doing it slightly differently. It makes us aware of that. So who knows what else we'll be made aware of by trying to fumble our way through this. So let's go. Okay, so now we should be able to route to these different pages. So if we go to /counter, we've got our counter button page. Brilliant. And now we can actually add buttons to click and actually, you know, traverse these in a better fashion. So we have counter and people list. So let's go to people list. Look at this. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. Great. Super. Okay, great. Cool. So at least that's working. We have different pages. There's the home page. Oh, yeah. Our home page. Cool. So let's keep going. So now we want to add links to our application. I think it might be better to add the links ourselves. Okay, so this is a handy little document. Who is this? Flutter Q. Okay, nice. So, where's the React DOM? DOM. Router documentation. Let's check that out. So, React Router. These are the unofficial docs. React DOM. So this is a React Router DOM. So React DOM. So we installed it from Npm. So if we go to Npm, we should be able to see some documentation. So Npm Let's see what they have there. Here. Cool. So here we should get some information. Please see the getting started guide. Great. So this will be up to date. And this is where we were directed to. So, okay, perfect. So cool. So check out the complete version of the app. React Router is a fully featured client and server-side rendering routing library for React. A JavaScript library for building user interfaces. Yeah, that's what React is. You can use it anywhere. Anywhere React runs, sorry. If you're getting started in general, remember you follow the excellent getting started guide in the official docs. It is excellent. We will keep this tutorial quick. Okay, so cool. Let's just get down here and see what's going on. So this is just general setup at the moment. So we're creating an invoices and an expenses page, and this is how we link to them. Cool. So now in our home page, let's try and make these links, because that's all we should have to do. So I will make this smaller, like as in height. Zoom in though, so you guys can see, and you can see these links here. So what we will do is on our home page, I'll close everything else, close others, close all. Move this up. So now let's create some links on our home page. So above where it says this is the home page, we will add in some links here. So link to, and we'll make this link to the counter, and then close the link and type in go to counter page. And then if I duplicate this, let's just see if that works first of all before we go creating all of our links. So I presume we need to import something as well, yeah. So we probably need to import link from React Router DOM. Let's check the documentation, but that is what we're going to have to do. But no harm in just following this properly, you know. So what did they do here? Yeah, import link from React Router DOM. I'll just copy that, stick it in here. I'll stick it underneath actually our React. Then we have our React Router DOM imports. Then we have our general component imports. Go back to our page. Here's a link. Ooh, great. So that's how you add a link. Super. And they don't. So if you added in a paragraph tag or something, it would, or a div, then it would be on separate lines. Let's close the div. Let's add the link within there. And now duplicate this instead and add our second link to, what was the name of that other page? We haven't defined in our app.js. So people list here. So if I copy this and add this to our second link here and save and go back to home, and then we should have a back to home button here. Great. And we need to change the text. So this will be go to the people list page. Perfect. Great. And back. Cool. Okay. Grand. Yeah. Cool. So I'll keep watching Sean now and see whether or not the process is the same. I just thought we best find out how to do it properly, and the best way to do that is just go into the documentation, and we installed it through npm. That's why I went to npm for the docs. So let's continue. Yeah, so he did just do the same thing. Great. So that bit hasn't changed in the upgraded React Router DOM. It's the exact same. He actually got an error. Okay, so what about if we try this ourselves then and see if we can reproduce his error? So in our app.js, he first added his links up here. And it said you cannot use links outside of a router. So let's import link. We need to first of all import it just to say that we are using this feature. So up at the top, I'll get rid of all these unused usings now. Unused usings. And link is not defined. Let's just reload. Yes, so use href or a link may only be used in the context of a router component. So we do still get that same error. So these, if we want to use these links within this page here, we need to put them inside of the router itself. So where exactly? Let me just watch again. Yeah. Okay, so he literally just put it within the first router tag that we had. So once we've declared our browser router, we should be able to have these links now. So let's go back to the home page. Great. We have our links. This is on our app file. And then we're rendering our other pages, which is why I think we're getting this twice. So what about if we go to the counter page and go to the counter page? Cool. So now from our home page, which is being injected in as our home page. Yeah, so we're just showing them twice. Okay, so let's cut them from here and then paste them into our, let's say, people list page and see if we still see 4 links, which I wouldn't expect to see now, or instead our counter button page, just because that was all in a singular JSX expression return. Well, let's see if we can do it here. I don't fully get this approach just yet. So what counts as a single statement? Is this still a single statement? And then if we import link, because we need that to say that we're using it. So I'll copy and paste it in here. Should really go above our other component imports, but that's not really that important. Okay, cool. So now we don't have 4 on our home page because we were importing it into, we were putting it into our app and our home page, and our app is just rendering our home page. So it was rendering the links on the app page and on the home page. So now if we go to our counter page, we're already on that. If we go to our people list page, we do see this being rendered twice because it's rendering the app component as well. And then it's injecting in the people list page. Cool. So we'll take links out of other pages. We only need them in the app page for now. Perfect. Okay, great. We're getting to grips with this. That's good. And I'll remove this link from here as well. And then I'll just save. So cool. So I just went to make some coffee. And my dad loves like loads of milk in his tea. So there's no milk down there. He's drank all the milk. And I just so happened to make a song, so I thought I'd share it with you. It goes, not a drop of milk in the house. I'm going around like a little mouse. There's not a drop of milk in the house. Going around like a little mouse. Anyway, that's it. So yeah, I was just down there singing a song and ready to get back into this with my milkless coffee, which is still delicious. I put a squeeze of lemon in there instead. Looks like he's gone out to get some as well. Like, obviously he can drink all the milk he wants. But there just happens to be not a drop of milk in the house. Hey! Anyway, so continuing on. So we have our routes. Our routes are routing, which is super de duper. Great. So that's how to do basic navigation and routing in React. Very good, yes, and I've seen these links around the place. Brilliant. So now we're going to use URL query parameters and pass in different parameters to the URL. So let's do that now too. Also seen some chocolate cake downstairs. Oh, gobbled it up. Came back up. Ready to go. Energized with the chocolate inside. Energized with the chocolate inside. No money messing. Okay. So yeah, URL are parameters that are found as segments inside the URL path, directly inside it. So like URL parameter is just like the slugs, no? Aha, of course. Yeah, no, this is more used with unique IDs. So say if you have somebody's particular profile page, you need to pass, you know, their ID or a unique identifier into that route. So it'll say like /profile page and then the number of the person. So it could be like people list and you want person 1. And then this will bring you to that first person in the list. So that, oh, I just bit my tongue. So that's what we're going to set up now. Yeah. Oh. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so a URL parameter, for example, he showed off his LinkedIn. I'll show you my Twitter page. So if we go to Twitter here, Twitter, I mean, why shouldn't I just share my LinkedIn as well? It's all, but my LinkedIn is a bit more, I don't know, I haven't linked that on my YouTube just yet. So let's go here. So here's me, Lilly Code. Woohoo! Positive life and goal smashing enthusiast. Don't you know it, baby? So Lilly Code. I love computers. Anyway, getting distracted, like who cares about my page? Basically, this is the, this is the URL parameter. Okay, so the URL parameter that's passed to the URL, that's a unique identifier in order to move to perhaps a profile or a detail page. So this is the URL parameter. I'm going to take a note of this because this is great. Okay, so, and then the Lilly code is the URL parameter. And I'll put this in the description box down below as well because it's pretty important. So, well, these are just terms that I hadn't really thought about before. I sort of knew what they were just by not thinking about them. But now he's going to tell us what a query param is, and that's different. And though they're good to know exactly what the difference is, so you can refer to both of them, you know. So cool. So then we have query parameters, which are similar, very similar, but they're found in a different part of the URL. URL parameters that we just seen, Lilly code, are found in actual segments of the URL path. So I think this means like it will be separated by a slash, whereas the query parameter, I'm thinking, can be inserted in anywhere. So you would insert like a number in here and then it would get rendered to like not that. That's how you'd pass it into your code. But let's see. Oh, I was totally wrong. So I was wrong. So instead it would be like this. You would pass it in as a question mark. This is a query parameter. And at the end of the path, so it could be like Q is equal to tallest building in the world. Something like this. So this will be a query parameter where you have a question mark and then followed by your query. Oh, so when you're doing a Google search, yes, okay. So let's, yeah, this is how it actually works. So let's go to Google and just check that out. Or let's go to DuckDuckGo, because that's the browser, the search thing that I'm using, and just paste in tallest building in the world. And there we go. We have a question mark, the Q, so it is a query parameter, and it is equal to tallest building in the world. Great. And then it's just saying as well that Brave happens to be my web browser. So cool. Okay. And then let's go to Google and see what Google does just for pig iron here. So Google. And let's take out the pluses because I want to see them being added by Google. Okay, so it says tallest building in the world and then a whole load of other information. So cool. It doesn't just say, I thought, why, you know, this has extra information, but this has loads of extra information. So cool. Okay, grand. Cool. Okay. Yeah, this is very helpful. And then it's also used for, say, on Amazon, if we filter by different things, or what's a small business, Amazon? I don't know. I like supporting the small man. So, you know, let's just say if you were on some, so adverts.ie, adverts.ie is an Irish website for finding things. Adverts, yeah. Oh no. Adverts.ie. Cool. So let's accept all and let's search for something and then add a filter. So I'll say computer, because it's normally the things I'd be looking for. And then we'll add some filters here. So we'll say last comment. So there we go. We have a, well, it's just sorted it by. This is still isn't a query parameter. So let's try and add some query parameters in crazy random stuff. Like, is this still it? Q, but it should be Q and then equals. It looks like they're still using query parameters, but use them in a slightly different way. Okay, let's add some filters here and see what happens now. Price to €21, refresh. I want to swap something. Okay. So anyway, query parameters can also be used up when you are searching. So I don't think this is a query parameter because it's just a Q, whereas the format should actually be question mark Q, like this, and then say you might have the keyword search here, and then you have your different query parameters that have been passed on, and they are not all forward slashes like this either. So it has search question mark Q, and then for example hats and price, and then we could have underscore max, so your maximum price is 20 quid. You don't want a hat more expensive than that, and then color green. So a string like this could also be used for query parameters when you are searching for something and you're filtering the list. So great. Okay. Okay guys, so let's figure out these params. Cool. So now we know what a URL param is and what a query parameter is, and we are going to start implementing these. Cool. So in our counter button component here, we can start by using the URL parameters. So in order to do this, we need to import use params from React Router DOM. So we'll do that, import use params from React Router. Sorry, cool. No, it should be React Router DOM. As far as I can see here, what Sean is doing. If we face problems, we'll keep it in mind. Cool. And then in our app.js file here, we can add this to our counter route. So we'll add a a forward slash first, and then name. So our query param is going, or I should say our URL parameter is going to be the name of the person. So what were the names that we used again? We had Sarah. So let's see if this is going to work now. So we have people list and forward slash Sarah. And I don't know what we should say on that page. So let's wait and see. Oh, we need to hook it up. Of course we do. So then in our counter button page here, we need to hook this up. So we'll define a constant, which is call name. And then this is going to be equal to use params. We have to actually use this import. And then hook it up as well, I presume. Okay, and then we'll also just show them the name as well. So here we can use this name. So we'll inject the name in here. We'll say name, and then we'll add an S, just like as in Lily's counter button page. So let's save. Cool, so our application is running. So if we reload this now, then no matched location, people list Sarah. So Sarah is definitely one of the names. So here in our people list page, we have Sarah, Mary, and Dick. So let's copy Mary. And we don't have a Mary either. Okay. So we'll have to do some further digging into this. Oh, this is on the counter page. Is it? Yeah, we've set this up on our counter page. So this should be counter. I just presumed because we were looking at people that it should be on the people page. So there we go. It's working. Great. Okay. Cool. So that's our URL parameters. That's great. So now we're going to move on to query parameters and see what's going on with them. Okay, perfect. So in order to use the query params, we use useLocation in React. So we'll use that. So we will also import useLocation into our counter button component here. So useLocation. Very cool. So let's have a look and see what this actually does first of all. So we'll create a constant called location, equal this to use location, and then we'll console log out location just to see what is this. So location here. So we'll see this now in our terminal. So if I copy this and just add a string, it's not necessary, but I like to do it, and then save. We will see in our terminal here now when we reload. Here we go, location, and we can see what is this location, what does it give us. So we have a hash, we have a key, we have a path name, a search property, and a state. So it's an object with these different properties. So the one that we're interested in when we are trying to add a query parameter is the search property, because that's the search that's depended on when you're using a query parameter. Okay, cool. So right now it's blank at the moment. There's nothing in there. But if we change this and say question mark and message equals hello and reload, we actually see that that goes in now. This is the query parameter that has been passed. So very, very cool. Okay, cool. So how do we actually turn this into something we can actually use? In order to do this, we're going to install another npm package. And so let's go back to our terminal here. So terminal, new terminal. And what was the name? He did that so quick because I have them on 2 times, but okay, yeah. So we're going to do npm install and query dash string. Yep, and hit enter. Cool. Very good. Okay. So then we can parse this query string once we have this package installed. So we'll just continue on because it's going to be installed now in a moment. So underneath this import from React Router DOM, we can import parse now. Parse. And this is going to be coming from query string. From query string, which should have a dash in it, like so. And then we use this parse. So we could see there that we had the search was where our query string was being stored. So we can actually just parse the location dot search. Location dot search. And this will parse out our actual query string for us. So perfect. Let's give that a go. And now, there we go. We have just the actual message, the object that we're passing through. It's parsed it for us into this format. So great. That must be a better format to work with this now. So we have a JSON object that contains all of the properties of our query parameter. Okay. Okay, so now we have just got rid of the code that was allowing us to add in this name. So we're not using params for the moment. We're taking out the name here. We are going to also take it out from our app component because we're going to do a different setup now where you're doing query parameters. And we'll get rid of this console log because we're going to actually use it properly now. So now we'll create another constant called starting value, and also there's going to be an import that isn't needed at the top of this file, but that's all right for tonight. So starting value, cool, and this is equal to parse location and then dot starting value. Okay, so let's see. And then rather than having 0 being passed through as our initial state, we will pass starting value instead. So let's have a look at that. And then so query parameters by default are strings, and we want this to be a number. So we need to change it to a number. So we just literally say number and put this in brackets, and that will convert that string to a number for us. Need some lip balm. Okay. Cool. So now we'll go back to our /counter route. And I think if we click this, we will get one. Ah, you have clicked the button not a number of times. Okay, but I did change it to a number. So let's just reload and make sure that that reloaded properly. Oh, well, yes, of course, because we are sending the wrong data out now. I think it should be converted to a number. It should be converted to a number. Okay. Okay, so let's just see and follow what Sean is doing, because I just sort of went off on my own intuition there, which didn't serve me too well. So I'll take off this comma at the end, or the forward slash, sorry, add a question mark, say starting value, and equal this to 7. And let's see what happens. Well, we're not getting that. Oh, I knew that when we were doing it, so my intuition was actually correct from the get-go. I'm listening to you, baby. I need to listen louder. So yes, when he just put location here, I was thinking, isn't it location.search? But I just continued to do what he said. But he since found that, yes, this was just a small little bit that was missing. So now if we reload, there we go. And if we click, it's all hooked up. And it's not being put back up here. So okay, so let's keep on watching. Cool. So that's the basics of using query parameters with React Router. Cool. Now we're going to implement, if a page is not found, implement that type of code. So yeah, you will want this, you know. So if you navigate to a URL that doesn't have a page by accident, then you want to show a 404 page. So we're going to set up our own type of 404 page so we can have a custom 404 page for the user. Cool. So the first thing we're going to do is create this not found page, so we can actually show them a page that we have created if they navigate to a page that isn't found. And then we'll add the logic behind that as well, like how do you actually show that in that instance. So this will be our not found page .js. Perfect. And this, it looks, seems to be in the wrong place, so let me cut this. This should be in our pages folder, so let me paste it in here. Cool. And then we'll just set this up. So this is just going to be export const page not found, which is just going to be equal to an arrow function, so like so. And then in here we will have a h1 tag. Again, Sean is using the roundy brackets. That just confuses me, but that means I need a return statement. So let's use just the curly brackets so we don't need to add return, and we'll say h1 and then 404 not found. Cool. Okay, okay, okay. Cool. And then so fabulous. So what we're going to do now is again export this from our index, because this is how we know how all of these different pages are linked. So we will say export index. Oh no, we are exporting our 404 page. Our not found page is the name that we've given it, so not found page, and this is from the same level, not found page. There we go. And we'll add our semicolon at the end, and this should be a from in here. So cool, like that. Perfect. And then so not found page. Cool. I just got a call from a good friend of mine in Malta. Yeah, over there seems to be having a great night, so absolutely fabulous. It was great to hear from him, so shout out, you know who you are. Great, and delighted to see her out there having a great time. He rang me at a table with about 6 women He seemed to be on his own. Always the chatter, gentleman, joker. So just a funny guy, life and soul of the party. So very funny. Absolutely brilliant. He wanted to tell me that one of the girls looked just like me. She was a very beautiful girl. I said, "You're prettier." But just as a compliment, she was just a very lovely looking girl. She maybe looked like me, but I think she looked different to me. He seen the resemblance. I thought she looked great. So yeah, just very nice to receive a call from a friend, that you haven't spoke to in a while. So that was wonderful. So now we're just going to move on here. Shout out to the Welshman, he's from Wales. So we'll move on, and now we're going to add this to our root as well, which was in our app.js. So in here we go, and let's add this. So Sean Wassells has added this in a certain way, but we have since updated this way of declaring a route in React with React Router DOM. Yes, so this is how it's done now. So we'll just do it our way, and this is going to be the not found page. Yeah, so we'll just say not found. Perfect. You can give that whatever name you want. That's the root, and then the element. So this is how we link it then. So it's equal to, open up our brackets, and we will inject in the component in here. So not found page. There we go. And let's close this off. So perfect. And yeah, we just need to close this tag as well. So lovely. And did it automatically import it? It did. So then if we save and reload, all of that should be hooked up. Not found page is not exported from not found page. So let's go and have a look at that. Export constant page not found. Okay, so let's just change this to not found page. Cool. That's what it should be. And now we're back on track. So lovely. Great. Oh, so he just said, what? Why is that? On Sean's one, the 404 page is just showing down the bottom of his component the whole time. He's going to explain why, but I don't see that. So we added as the very last route, the not found route. It should be the very last route. Oh, he didn't give it a path prop. Oh, so if we don't provide it with any end in our app.js, which, we're going to obviously do this a bit differently. So he literally just said, didn't give it a path. Yeah, he didn't give it a path. Theoretically, even though he did it slightly differently. Yeah, he just said what element it was. So let's say if we leave out the path, then what happens? Then is it on every page? Because that's what Sean is saying. No, it's not. Because the approach has slightly changed here. So, okay, we'll figure out how we do not found pages ourselves with this new approach. Cool. Okay, yeah, we will. Okay. Okay, cool. So this is where switch comes in, yes, and switch is the thing that they actually moved away from when they did update the React Router DOM package, because that's what that Stack Overflow was telling us earlier on. So we will go back to our GitHub and we'll figure out how we do this in the new updated, upgraded version of React Router DOM, where they change this switch behavior just to make it easier for people. So we have reached the end of our hour, however, so we will leave it there for today, and next time I will continue with implementing a not found page with our React Router DOM, but do it from the documentation as opposed to from Sean Wassells' course. So that'll be a nice little experiment for us and to figure that out. And I'm actually delighted because I hadn't got to this yet in Max's course, and I do use this on a daily basis. Well, I don't use it on a daily basis. Had I used it in a daily basis, I probably would have skipped ahead to that chapter. But I see it on a daily basis. I see these links all over the project I work in at work. So really great to get down to the nitty gritty and see what these are all about. And I will definitely continue with Max's course as well, because it's just so in depth. But I think that this course from Sean Wassells is a brilliant, run through, and I'm really thinking it's done very well. So yeah, I'm also enjoying this. So thank you so much for joining me as always, guys. It's been my absolute pleasure. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Please do like and subscribe if you like my content, because it means the world to me and more people just get to see the videos. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you don't want all the notifications, just turn off the bell. But that's what I do. When people ask me to like and subscribe, I'll subscribe. But then if I'm not that interested in getting all the content, I'll just stop the notifications, which that seems like a good trade-off to me. But if you do want notifications, then keep the bell on. It's totally up to you. So thanks so much, guys. Have a beautiful day. Have a nice day. Hope you enjoy yourself. Thanks for joining me, Lily Code. Peace.